order so that you didn't request to be traded,
Oh yeah. Okay.
what would you tell him?
I mean, if we ever have that conversation, I don't think it's for anybody else but me and him. So
Were there things though that you felt like?
even if, like, that's what I'm saying, Jeff. Like, even if there are things, like, it's not anybody else's business. It's just really between two men. So that's really where it is. You know? As much as you would, like, as much as everyone here would love to hear that, it's just that's between two men.
Yeah,
That's what-
listen,
yeah.
I think everybody would like to know, and I know you've kind of talked about it to some degree, but not the details of why you wanted to leave Cleveland, I guess, more than anything else.
Yeah.
You want to have that discussion?
I mean, like I said, if it happens or not, I'm pretty sure you guys won't know about it. So it's not whether or not I want to or not. It's literally just about having the respect of two men and having that conversation be respected. That's all.
Kyrie, I'm wondering what your reaction was when you heard the president's comments over the weekend about NFL players, and then also his comments on Steph Curry.
Man, it was a heck of a weekend. I'll tell you that. It's been a lot of emotions, a lot of disconnect, a lot of opinions, a lot of things that have feelings of things that have either happened this weekend or that have happened in the past, and things that people have problems with, and to be able to have that realization that our voices can be heard, and understanding the intent on why individuals do the things that they do in order to feel like they're making a change in society, or they're pushing forward a culture that ultimately was founded on some questionable things, you know, and it's your right to have that ability to stand up and say something, whether that be kneeling, whatever the action is, as long as the individual knows the intent behind it. There is no black and white, there is no gray area between, there is no figuring it out. It's what's right, and that's what's right for our society and human beings. It's not between the veterans and the military and someone kneeling in the national anthem. It's much bigger than that. It's a human being thing. And knowing that intent on fighting the inequalities of certain things that you have a problem with, I feel like it's every person's right to speak up and say what they feel on it. As long as it's not with the intent to create more and more division between people. I don't think that's how we further anything going forward. And I think that's what it's done, unfortunately, at times. It's created division between people, between the race and social classes and everything. So it goes along the line. It goes along the line of what's been going on in history for a while, and it's good to see people fighting for their rights and fighting for human equality rather than just one particular thing. So.
Do you think that athletes are just starting to realize the power they have in terms of that kind of platform?
You said just starting to?
Well, maybe they're more emboldened.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think that certain individuals have definitely taken a stance, and the positive repercussions have never come. They've either disappeared, or they've never been heard from again, or you haven't heard anything from them again, or they've lost their job, or they've done something for standing up for what they believe in. And it's been coming from individuals that are passionate for making a decision based on what they want to do with their lives, and that's something I can't agree with. So whether it be more athletes are bold, or more people are bold to come forward, it's been happening throughout history. It just depends on whether you want to acknowledge it or not.
Kyrie, does it get worse before it gets better?
You said, does it get worse before it gets better? The hope is progression, man. Hope is progression. But I think the beautiful thing is that people are starting to wake up. So.
Along the lines of what you're talking about, and as it relates to the Celtics, I don't know if you knew that you were going to come to this franchise. Obviously, you knew the winning tradition behind it. But there's also a tradition of guys like Russell, and Sam Jones, and Casey Jones, Red Auerbach, and the relationship that they had. The fact that Celtics had the first black player, first black head coach. Does that resonate with you now that the organization that you're with has that history? Because it seems like it's very important to you.
I know that their stance is to be behind their players and also prove through actions that equality exists, even in working environments, even in our society, and to be part of an organization that echoes that. It makes it that much greater, and I can't wait to speak to some of the individuals that have come before me to be able to connect with that and have those conversations. Because at the end of the day, there was never a color scene. It was just a human being, and I think that we all can appreciate that. And that judgment doesn't come from anywhere but a great place and having the best intentions for a person. That's it. You don't know them from a can of paint, but the fact that you can walk up to them and have that same respect and offer that, it goes a long way for people. So,
Kyrie,
We reached out to a few guys about, maybe doing some sort of protest or doing something this season. How much discussion, I guess, have you guys